Art mimics reality, and we see no shortage of that idea in Henrik Ibsen's play A Doll's House. This play caused controversy and even outrage when it first came out in the midst of the 19th century, where the role of a woman in a marriage and in a household was set to only serve her husband and children. As time marched forward, however, and society became more progressive, the outrage became more of a debate on whether or not the role of a woman should be unchanging, and if marriage was even necessary in some cases. In the present, women are considered to be equals to men, and in most cases are able to leave a marriage if they are unhappy with it. But the debate of a woman's role stands. As I mentioned previously, art mimics life, and the one aspect of life this play seems to mimic the most is change. The fact that life is fluid in nature and constantly changing is all throughout the play, from Rank's health to Krogstad's motives to the relationship between Nora and Torvald. Most importantly, Nora, our protagonist, changes the most through character development based on the actions of others and herself, to the point that by the end of the play, she feels comfortable abandoning that which she was praising at the beginning. Within the first couple of lines in Act 1, we see Nora enter the home and respond with a submissive "it is" when Torvald asks if she's his little Skylark. A couple of lines later, Nora praises her father, wishing she had, quote, inherited more of Papa's qualities, end quote. While it's important to note that Nora is not completely obedient to Torvald, since she paid the porter 10 shillings when he only charged 1, and she bought a bag of macaroons which we later find out are prohibited in the household, Nora is still compliant with him. She sticks to small expenses and follows his directions. She seems to hold both Torvald and her father to a much higher regard than herself. As the play progresses, we can see changes happening to Nora. She speaks her mind more to characters like Dr. Rank and Krogstad. She takes much bigger risks with Mrs. Lind regarding Krogstad's letter, and somehow, by the end of the play, she is daring enough to leave Torvald and her children to pursue a life of her own. As she says in the quote, "I have been performing tricks for you, Torvald. That's how I've survived. You wanted it like that. You and Papa have done me a great wrong, and it's because of you I've made nothing of my life." End quote. She has not lived her own life. She's only been an accessory in the life of others. With that realization, she leaves him, calling him a stranger, and goes back to her home to see what life may hold for her. No big decision happens for no reason, so we ought to ask the question, what caused this one? There are many developments in the play that could have caused Nora to become more rebellious and question the concept of her current life. The first would be Krogstad. When Krogstad begins pushing Nora to persuade Torvald into letting him keep his job, Nora starts standing up for herself more. She's more aggressive to Krogstad and to other characters from then on. The way I see it, she found confidence in being more assertive and expresses more and more of it as the play goes on. The second reason is Dr. Rank. When he declares his feelings towards Nora, she may have realized the power she can have over other people, and that she doesn't have to be bossed around by others. This might have also made her realize that while Torvald was the person she married, he was not the only option, and still isn't. I believe this experience with Dr. Rank made her curious about what could have been if she had never met Torvald, and some part of her really wanted to find out. The final and most important reason I think Nora decided to leave Torvald was because of Mrs. Lind. When Nora and Mrs. Lind reunite at the beginning of the play, Nora is quick to point out that Mrs. Lind is a widow, to which Lind explains she never loved her husband, so there was nothing to mourn about. I think when Lind said, "not even a feeling of loss or sorrow," when describing how she felt about her husband's passing, it resonated very deeply within Nora, and it made her think how she would feel if Torvald were to die someday. That led to Nora questioning if she really loved Torvald, or if she too would forget him soon after he passed. I don't want to say that Nora didn't care deeply about Torvald. They had built a life together after all. But love is a complicated emotion, and I don't think Nora loved Torvald. That life they built together was Torvald's, not hers. In conclusion, a doll's house, and most importantly, Nora, makes us question concepts of love towards another, marriage, and independence in the form of identity. We see how someone may react to finding out they don't care for the life they have spent so much time in. Not the house, not the husband, not even the children. Through Nora's decision, the people of the time found out that no marriage is better than an unhappy one. And while it caused controversy at first, it led to women being able to find their voice when confronting loved ones. Whether or not it was the right decision for Nora to leave her family behind, only time will tell. But what we do know is that Mrs. Helmer goes by Nora now, and she's her own person, not an accessory to someone else's life, and never again a pretty doll for someone else's dollhouse.